Hello everyone, welcome to the Watch Poplars. Today I will be repotting 3 trees that need to be repotted. They are starting to break dormancy. There's a Chinese elm here, there is a bigleaf maple here, and there's a pomegranate right here. I have my white poplar right here because I am starting to see snail damage on the leaves. Snail tracks. Every day I find a snail under the pot. So now it will be in a moat and hopefully protected from the snails so they don't eat the poplar leaves coming out. There's also, I pruned this up because it was just getting really heavy, but later this year I'm gonna prune it quite hard because there's some leggy branches that I should take care of so that they are more compact and so that they grow in less heavy. I just got the tray and it was full of this soil which all the succulents were in, so that is really good. Look at the texture now. That's so much better. I just need more of that soil. High and perlite, and I need to get more of that old bonsai soil I had. A lot more of it, and lots of perlite. And I think that would be great soil. I don't think it's worth it right now until I can actually drive by myself. So I can drive down that road and collect more soil myself. And yeah, so this, I'll just get that bonsai soil and perlite. So I have got my scissors over here. It is February 6th. So this Chinese elm is a bit dry, which is fine because I'm repotting it. It is starting to grow out on the top, as you see, but I don't really see much growth on the bottom, which is great because that would tell me that it is too late to repot this Chinese elm if I want to keep it. I already have a Chinese elm, but I don't know. I think I'm just trying to see if that experiment I did last year, scarring the lower trunk under the soil, and then in burying it would form roots right there, because the root system was very far below the soil. It is okay to let your trees dry out a little bit, but they shouldn't be very, very, very dry. Like, it's just to improve the texture of the soil when you are combing them out. There's a grub in there. Every single one of my trees has a grub. So this is not growing on bonsai soil. I've been very busy because of schoolwork. I recently dropped out of calculus because I realized that I was not prepared for the review, and the review material was it's unfamiliar, and so I realized that I guess I have to take pre-calculus, so I took that. And calculus is required for the major I plan to go into is plant sciences, because it would help me with chemistry, which is required for like plant sciences as well, because of the stuff taking place in plants. And what is that? What's going on here? What are these? What is this? I'm going to plant these things. Oh, did I just break that one? What are these? I don't know. But they're cool. I want to see what they turn into. Probably monocots. Let me see. I don't know. There's a seed right here. It looks like it used to be a berry. I'm gonna plant it. I think it's a monocot. What is this? There's 3 little seedlings. I broke one of them. But this is another intact one. What is this? Yeah, it's a monocot. Little like grass-like shoots. I think they're like something with like the flat leaves. They could be a agapanthus or something. Iris. They kind of look like iris seeds. Yeah. But I will plant them. There are 2. So I will plant them right now. I planted them right here. Oh shit, I just tapped the screen now. The autofocus is broken. Anyway, I planted them, one there and one there. So I have a lot of math papers to catch up on from that transition. There's not a whole, I don't know. These roots, I guess I expect too much of these roots. So where did I scar it? I can see the scars I made further up, and there are not many roots up there. So I don't think it's very nice. This one is, I started it from a seed. I think it just sprouted on its own. I don't know. Maybe I collected it in like early 2024, but it sprouted in early 2024, and I was able to control the roots more. So I think I'm going to get rid of the larger one. Cause it's fine. I can get rid of it. It's fine. So, cause this one's going along more nicely, and I don't have any room to have like more than one per type of tree. And I'm fine with that. I'm okay, cause it's very manageable. And I can keep them alive. So I'll wash this. And I'll put this soil in a pot. I might save the moss for later. There is a root that is very crazy. And it's right here. It curls around, it goes like that, and then goes. So I'm going to prune off that weird part. Nice and radial. This one cranks to the side. I'll get rid of that. And then this one goes in crazy direction. Yeah, so I'll keep this one, and I'll see how it develops in the future. I think I'm going to keep this one kind of small. The other one's going to be quite large. And yeah, there's Chinese elms planted all over the place. I think they might even be a horticultural atrocity, because they're just so overused. But they make great bonsai, and they get lots of character when they get very old. Oh. And yeah, so I don't think I need to prune the top. They grow in this weird fan this fronding habit. They like to grow flat branches. You can see that. This branch here. It's strange. But I could leave it. I think you'd be fine if I do leave it. So yeah, I will. I'm not gonna touch it anymore. I'm gonna plant it. I think I could plant it in a smaller container, and I might be able to put here. If I can poke a hole in this, it would perfectly fit this. So I don't know. I think I need like something sharper, or actually something that's actually supposed to break this. I don't know, but yeah, I'll see. I could even like switch the pomegranate in with this, but that, you know, this I'd have to prune the roots more, and it would be very, very oversized. It'd suck up the water in like a day and dry out, and it'd be very hard to keep up with the water. I think this pot is the way to go once again. And it's fine. It has a fine size. It's a bit large, but I could, maybe pick a different one. No, that one's larger. Yeah, this. They all seem so much larger. If I had planted it in this container, you know, where this Atlas cedar is, that would be kind of nice. But the Atlas cedar, no, this is a spruce, pine of some kind. This is smaller than this Chinese elm, and it's gonna grow. It's gonna grow into this pot probably for the next 2 years, because I may not repot it next year because it is kind of weak. But I think I'm gonna replant it into here, which is fair. It's fine. I will not waste any more time. So right after this video, I am gonna get to my math homework. Oh, it stands up on its own on the soil, but that doesn't count because it doesn't stand up on its own like that. It doesn't have a good enough root base yet. I'll have to do with a few more corrective root work. I can actually scar up this side here because it's kind of weak on that side. And I'm gonna continue to use this method because I think it works. So I'm just gonna scar up the cambium layer, cut like 1/4 of the way through. It shouldn't be too hard on the tree. Oh, did you see that? Yeah, here's how I do it. Now, there. So you can see, I come in with the scissors, and I just kind of gouge the trunk a little bit. And I do it to this side as well if I can. Try to make it fit. Supposedly this will help promote root growth. I don't know, but I'll plant it now. It's a cute little tree. I think I'm actually gonna keep this until I die, because this is developing quite nicely for a seedling. Can I add a little bit more soil? But I don't want to plant the tree too shallow because I want those roots to develop. I know Chinese elm grows some cuttings, so that's why I am testing this method out. Scarring the roots for, I don't know, stimulating root growth. I don't know. You can tell autofocus malfunction makes it very hard to film and focus on both the video content and the quality. But that is the Chinese elm. leafing out. And spring, it's very, very nice, springy day. It's so warm. It's very warm. It's 60 degrees. There was a low of 50. And for the past week, I have been wearing t-shirts, even though it was 43. And it just feels really nice. I don't want to let go of the winter, so I want to feel cold. Yeah, so I think this will be the last one I do. It's literally like this. It's a 3-year-old pomegranate. Anyway, I'm gonna get this maple repotted. So I got this one watered. It still hurts to blow in my mouth because I have wisdom teeth removal. I'm no longer wise, so I have a hard time comfortably blowing, which is, it's okay, and I don't mind. Oh wow, this is a nice, it's looking promising, but it didn't grow a whole lot last year. So if any root pruning I'm going to do, it's, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't even do any root pruning. I'm gonna just put it in better soil. I'm gonna get this lovely moss, which peels very, very nicely because there's not a whole lot of roots growing on top of it. There's a toyon seedling right here. I find them all over the place. There's moss on the trunk. Gotta get it off. I want the bark. And when this forms bark, I don't want it to start rotting, and because moss will rot the bark on a bonsai, because the bark on a bonsai is very thin, and the bark on a tree in the ground is quite thick in comparison. So with this tree, I'm just gonna cut it to a profile and just put it right back in. Now, how's the grains? There are some of the grains of the bonsai soil in here. Also, there's quite a long root right here. So I'm not even gonna really do a full-on repot here, because this tree's quite weak. This is all it grew last year. It grew 2 inches, I think, 1.5 maybe. So it should have grown over a foot if it was healthy, with huge leaves. Even in this container, it could have grown very large leaves. It could have grown ones as big as my face, but it didn't, even though I was fertilizing it. So this time, I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to be very conservative about the root pruning. And yeah, because I want this native, interesting species for a bonsai to succeed in its development. Now, I need to wash my scissors. There is a root, and it's too tall, too high up. The other roots are fine. I'm not even gonna focus on like any structure because they're all quite radial. I'm just gonna prune these very long ones back, and that should be it. Yeah, that's it. I don't want to do any more until until 1 year comes. It's recovering. Okay, so now with the better soil, hopefully it recovers. This one has more perlite, and I know trees love perlite. So I'll put that there. Try to fit it in. I could put it like that so that it has like a variation, because this is 45 degrees difference from when it was in the pot previously. Now I'm going to work the soil into the roots. And because there are so many roots on this tree, I don't have to worry about it getting very loose. So it's quite firm now. That's a great sign. So now I will top it off. I saw a root. Where is it? Okay, there. So, yeah, that is planted. Now, I'm going to get this little tiny pomegranate tree out. I collected this, I think I collected this in early 2023. Well, a little bit late in the season, but still early. Okay, so, and it was growing, it was a little sprout coming off of the base of one of our larger pomegranate trees. And I cut it off. It had one tiny little root on it because it was growing in like a bunch of ivy. Very shady and a little bit moisture remaining from the winter. And yeah, so I collected it and I rushed it back into an area, quickly repotted it into a little container. Not this one, it was growing in a different one. I don't know what it was. But this is still stuck. Okay, it's coming. Okay. So this has been growing in here, I think I might have repotted it last year. There's not a whole lot of roots on it, even though it grew quite nicely last year. So I'm gonna do very little root pruning. And none of the roots are actually growing. But you know, it's very, very shortly after this phase of, you know, top growth right here is when you get root growth. Because these leaves, as soon as they turn green, they're gonna start providing energy for the roots. But right now the roots are providing energy. The stored up energy is coming out as leaves at this time. So it's only a matter of time before the leaves start encouraging the roots to grow. There are no actively growing roots, and it's very surprising with how many leaves are coming out on it. And that's normal. Yeah. So I'm gonna just prune this big root right here, just that, and then it's ready to plant. And I think I'll put it back in this container because it is really cute in this container. Yeah, when I started using fertilizer last year, this plant finally recovered, and it was growing very weakly for the past 2 years, and that's how it went for a lot of my trees. A few of my trees actually, they were growing very weak, and then I started fertilizing them in 2025, and they started to grow a lot more. So I'm just gonna let this one grow quite unrestricted, unprovoked, undisturbed, and just watering it. And there's my little pomegranate. It's very, very tiny. and it's shorter than my thumb, and it's how old is it? I think it's 3 years old. It has to be 3 years old. Starting its 4th year, I believe. I'll have to check my photos. I'll put moss on them later. So there was a seedling growing in with my phacelias. There are ants everywhere. I have to repot these phacelias, and I need to figure out what's going on under the soil, because there's one. This one's been drying out a lot. This one too. This one's been staying moist, but there's also ants crawling all over the place. I also need to repot this manzanita into its own container. It's been in there for it's been in there ever since I stuck it in as a cutting in probably like 2024. I don't know. But there's these. Oh, are these Sanicle seedlings? I think these are California Sanicle seedlings. And then there's this, which looks kind of familiar. It looks very, very familiar. This is a Chinese pistache seedling, and I don't know how it got in here, but I noticed that it is those little leaves right there are the true cotyledons, and then the actual leaves are coming out right here. So these are not the cotyledons. I've just never seen its cotyledons before. Down in here. Yeah. So these very first leaves of a seedling are those two things on the seedling over here. Those are cotyledons. So I have the native Phacelia seedlings that are from these ones, and then I have these. I don't know what they are. They have kind of this maple-like structure, the leaves, 3 lobes. And then in here, there's like a Ranunculus californica seedlings. I don't know how they got in here, but I should try transplanting a few of them into their own container, so that they can grow quite large. There are some more Phacelia seedlings growing in here. So there's one here, and there's one here, and that's it. There is a layer of moss growing on the soil of where my coulter pine seedlings are and my madrones are. And the pines are not going to sprout for like at least another month. But this soil is like, I guess the good part about this soil, which is like horrible for bonsai, is that it grows moss super easily. And this is the mush soil. This is the cactus mix. This looks like something in the carrot family. I think it's those like spiky ones, but I'm not sure. I could always pull it out if it is, but I'll see. I'll wait for the flower buds to develop, and if it is the hedge parsley, I'm gonna pull it out. I think maybe I should take this off of the elm. The glue is still on there. The glue is still on the tree. It's doing its job, and I think I'm not going to take it off. I've just been having that cover over the tree because I don't want the glue to get rubbed off or washed off, because it is not waterproof. But I guess maybe it gets quite warm in here, so the leaves are coming out quite quickly, and it looks very, very nice. And it's starting to extend. The growth is starting to extend on some of the shoots, so that's nice. And there's some moss growing on it already. Here are my honeysuckles. This is Lonicera hispidula, and some of them are already looking like trees. Like that one's already looking like a tree. Oh wow, this is very close up. I think this new update on the phone has kind of changed things up a little bit. There's this one. That one looks like a tree. But you know, they're going to change very dramatically by the end of this year because they're a very vigorous vine. Very, very, very VV. Yeah. And then these ones, there are the shrub. They're kind of semi-aquatic shrub. And this one's finally starting to grow. It still has last year's leaves on. And yeah, it's looking very nice. And the leaves are falling off now. Which is it's about time. So yeah, the new leaves are coming out. This one's already growing. And that's new. That's very good. The moss is also fusing. It's starting to spread. All these little dots here, every single one of these little dots you see on the soil is a cypress seed, and I don't know how that's gonna go by the time they all sprout, but I don't know. Also, this is not a fireweed seed, unfortunately. This is something in the carrot family based on those little leaves. Something in the carrot family. But I don't know what this is. That could be an elm. I think I collected some Chinese elm seedlings. There's some that keep their leaves longer, some that drop their leaves earlier. And this is, if that's one, it would be one that kept its leaves on less. It dropped its leaves before. But even all of the lint from the dryer machine is starting to grow moss. My redwood is very bronze right now. And I don't know, it's alive, it's healthy, but the ones right here, they don't turn bronze. They're still very green. I did prune my willow because this branch is taking over a bit too much, and I wanted this branch to take over as the leader. And a few days ago, I cooked this pine cone, this knob cone pine, this knob cone, and there's mullein leaf. It got very, very shiny. I think that's the resin. Very, very shiny, very, very tan, and the colors came out very, very brightly. But also, I was kind of destroying it because I was so eager to get the seeds out. Oh, and it smells so good. Oh my god. I think I'm gonna keep this. Oh my god, it smells so good, so good. And when it was cooking in the little oven, it was the whole house smelled like pine. This one little powerful pine cone smelled the whole house with this beautiful incense. However, my mom is allergic to all trees and grasses, so she got a sore throat, but not for long. I'm gonna put this in my room. This is so good. Here are the grape cuttings. They're not doing a whole lot yet. And I don't know how, but a branch came off of this golden rain tree. So where did I plant the cutting? I think, yes, I planted it right here. This little stick, and I'll see if it grows. But I don't know how that leaf came off. It must have been when I was putting a pot right here, which I have had quite a few. I had my buckeye sitting right here before I repotted it. But this twisty one here, it has a bud that's swelling. My alder is definitely leafing out. I've been fertilizing it now because it's growing and it is looking very good. This pear is growing again. It has been growing for like over a week. And the leaves from last year are finally falling off now. They're turning into fall colors. So hopefully it goes through fall colors. Some nice fall colors. I think it will, because it does that. And I think the next tree I want to repot will be my hawthorn, because it is breaking dormancy and it still has one leaf remaining, which is kind of crazy. But all my other Rosaceae plants are doing very well. There's the spirea, there's the toyon, it's growing. The raspberry, these plums, this one's growing like crazy. It's the first week of February. It's not even February 7th yet. And it's grown 2 inches. And that's crazy. It started growing in like December. There's the sweet gums. I mean, I see some buds are swelling. But it's not, I mean, this one's kind of early. I do see buds swelling on that one. The poison oak, I've been seeing a lot of poison oak starting to leaf out at this time, and I'm not seeing these leafing out. Maybe because they're in a pot. But I should put these in the same container if I want to keep both. I'm not sure why I'm keeping both of them, because they're both doing pretty well. I just got to be careful about the root pruning. My currant is in full bloom right now, and it looks gorgeous. There's another big leaf maple in here. That little stick in there. There's a big leaf maple seedling. I might try to keep it. I think I'll leave it in here. But I think it's inevitable. I'll have to plant it in its own container when I repot my locust. I'm not going to keep this one, but I'm also going to repot this cypress of some kind. There's a red bud on my red bud, and it's been getting redder as the weeks progress. And there's all this dirt from the rain picking up the soil. I think it's starting to break dormancy. Is that why it's called redbud? I think so, as there's really much no other way it could be called redbud. These are ficus cuttings, creeping ficus, and they haven't started creeping yet. They'll have to root, but I don't know. I mean, the creeping ficus that are growing in the city, they're already growing, and they've already put on like 4 inches of growth, some of them. So I'm gonna wait. I'll be patient. I've just been protecting it from the cold with this little cup. It's hard to put on, but I just try to fit it like that around it and like that, and then I don't know. But it's not. We're not getting anywhere. We're not getting cold nights anymore, so I don't need to do that. Maybe I could put it in a sunny spot. That's what I'll do. So I'll put it there. And I don't know what's with all these miner's lettuce seedlings, but they're everywhere. They're sprouting. This is the year for miner's lettuce, I guess. The dogwood is not growing. I don't think it's growing. It wasn't growing when I repotted it. It just had old leaves. Maybe the buds are swelling, but you know, it's still hanging on to its leaves. So it is not spring yet for this dogwood. And then there's this coast oak. Somewhere in here, there is a tiny little trunk. And this coast oak is going to become quite a nice bonsai because of its low branches and the fact that oh my god, the leaves are so tiny. Look, those are very tiny leaves. So that's very promising. Look how tiny that is. These tiny leaves and very short internodes, which is the space in between the leaves, is why this is going to become a very good bonsai. It's going to have very dense branches. This other one, I pruned it in fall, and the buds are not swelling yet, so I'm not gonna repot these. I think I repotted them last year, but I don't know. I planted oh, there's another Sanicle seedling in there. Anyway, I planted two California black oak acorns that sprouted in here, and they haven't seen any yet sprouting out. But I'm not going to disturb the moss in case they are. But I collected another one. It was such a miracle. I was at the person I helped with her garden, and I found a California black oak acorn, put it in here. The spruce seedlings are doing pretty well, despite the lack of roots that they have. Same with the Baccharis pilularis. And the lawn. This lawn I'm gonna get rid of, because I have this lawn. And yeah, I have a few succulents out here because I think it's a bit easier to have them out here where I can keep a closer eye on them. I think maybe the last update I'll give is this cherry laurel. No, it's not a cherry laurel at all. It's the native cherry. It's what is it called? It's the holly leaf cherry. Prunus ilicifolia. It is sprouting in this big pot. And so is the snowberry cuttings. They are sprouting as well. But I don't know if they're the native kind. I'll have to confirm that by the end of the year. So we'll see. I'll show you a lot of updates on this one. But I think I'm going to leave it here with this native succulent. It grows in like the Siskiyou areas. This, I don't know what it is in. Might be Caryophyllaceae. But it is starting to flower, which is very exciting. So that is all for today. Thanks for joining me here among the watch poplars.